Hello, hello, hello. Excuse me for a second. I'm just gonna be promoting a bit of this. Let me scroll to the top. This is a bit of, well, I guess no, actually. Yeah, a note about history of the play. Just gonna keep that up for a bit while I go and promote a bit of this. But yeah, today we're gonna be reading The Crucible. I didn't even know this existed, but it's a pretty common play, or like pretty one people know about, that I didn't know it existed. Kind of crazy, but this is gonna be fun. Very fun, I think. So while we wait, I am gonna go promote this in a couple little things, little tweets and stuff. Alright, I got the chat up right there. Let me move that real quick. Okay, is my audio well? Is it good? I think it is. Okay, good. This play is not history in the sense in which we would do. This play is not history in the sense in which the world is used by the academic historian. Dramatic purpose have sometimes required many characters to not be fused into one. The number of girls involved in crying out has been reduced. Abigail's age has been raised. Okay, interesting. So, plot reasons also. Not plot reasons. What's the word that I'm trying to think of? Change. My brain is not working right now. I'm tired. But yeah, this is like the notice basically. While there were several judges of almost equal authority, I have symbolized them all in the Hazard and Dansworth. However, I believe that the reader will discover here the essential nature of one of the strangest and most awful chapters in human history. Is it based off real events? I don't know, maybe. The fate of each character is exactly that of its historical model. Okay, so it is based on history. Cool. And there is no one in this drama who did not play a similar, and in some cases, exactly the same role in history. As for the characters of the persons, little's known about most of them. Expect what we. God. I'm getting a drink of my water right now. Oy vey. Maybe I should have done this in the morning. What may be summarized from a few letters the trail recorded certain broadsides written at the time and references to their to their conducts and source of varying reliability. There may They may therefore be taken as creations of my own, drawn to the best of my ability, in conformity with their known behavior, except as indicated in the commentary I've written for this text. Okay? Ooh. Act 1. An overture. A small upper bedroom in the home of Reverend Samuel Parris, Salem, Massachusetts, in spring of the year 1692. there is a narrow window at the left, therefore it leads pains and morning. Sunlight streams, a candle still burns near the bed, which is at the right. A chest and chair, a small table, and others furnishes at the back of a door. Opens on the landing of a stairway to the ground floor. The room gives up an air of cleaning spareness. The roof raft are exposed. The wood colors are raw and unmellowed. As the curtain rises, Reverend Paris is discovered kneeling beside the bed, evidently in prayer. His daughter, Betty Paris, aged 10, is lying on the bed, inert. At the time of these events, Paris was in the middle 40s. In history, he cut a villainous pass, and there is very little good to be said for him. He believed he was being persecuted wherever he went, despite his efforts to win people and God to his side. In meeting, he felt insulted if someone rose to shut the door without first asking his permission. He was a widower, with no interest in children or talent with them. He regarded them as young adults. Should I be reading this on YouTube.com? This could get a little dicey. Maybe Twitch would have been a better thing to pick. And until his strange crisis, he left the rest of Salem, never convinced that the children were anything but thankful for being permanent to walk straight, eyes slightly lowered, arms at the side, and the mouth shut until bidden to speak. His house stood in the town, but we today would hardly call it a village. The meeting house nearby, and from this point onward, toward the bay or inland, there were a few small widowed dark houses snuggling up against the raw Massachusetts winter. Salem had been established hardly 40 years before to the European world. The whole province was a baronic frontier inhabited by by a sect of fanatics who nevertheless were shipping out products of slowly increasing quality and value. No one can really know what their lives were like. They had no novelists and would not have permitted anyone at all, to read a novel if one were handy. Their creed forbade new farmhouses, was built friends assembled to raise the roof, and there would be special foods cooked in probably some potent cider passed around. There was a good supply of Nervo O'Dells in Salem, who dialed at the shovelboard in the Bridget Bishop's Tavern. Probably more than the hard work kept the morals of the place from spoiling. For the people were forced to fight the land like heroes for every grain of coin, and no man had very much time for fooling around. That there were some jokers, however, is indicated by practice of appointing a two-man patrol, whose duties to walk the force of time of God's worship, to take notice of such. Okay, that's a lot of words. I need to make some pauses in between. Of such as either lie about a meeting house without attending the world and ordinance, or that lay at home in the field without giving good account thereof, and to take names of such. Act 1, page 5. Oh, page 6, actually. Okay, never mind. Well, no, page 5, because title. Persons, and to present them to the magistrate. And to present them to the magistrates, whereby they may be where they may be accordingly proceeded against the preparations for minding other people's business, was time honored among people of Salem, and it's undoubtedly created many of the suspicious, which were to be fed to commoning madness. It was also, in my opinion, one thing that John Proctor would rebel against, for the time the armored camp had almost passed, and since the country was reasonably, although not wholly, safe, the old disciplines were beginning to wrangle, but as in all such matters, the issue was not clear cut, for danger was still a possibility, and in unity still lay the best promise of safety. Taking a pause for a moment. The edge of the wilderness was close by. The American continent stretched endlessly west, and it was fully mystery for them. It stood dark and threatening, threatening over their shoulders night and day, for out of the Indian tribes marauded from time to time, and Reverend Paris had parishioners who had lost relatives to these heathens. These heathen. That would not be good. The Polish snobbery of these people was partly responsible for their failures to convert the Indians. Probably they were also preferred to take land from heathens rather than from fellow Christians. At the end, very few Indians were converted. Let me check something real quick. Hold on a second. Not even trying to like make this intro long, but busy. You know, lots of busy things. Yeah, let me check something real quick. Hold on. Oh wait, I'm on the wrong thing. Hold on a second. We're gonna get back to the reading in a couple minutes. I just need to check something. Okay. Cool. Okay. Where was I? Okay. I know where I was. Okay. Cool. For these reasons, among others, they carried about an air of innate resistance, even of persecution. Their father had, of course, been persecuted in England, so now they have the church found it necessary to deny any other sect its freedom, lest their new Jerusalem be defiled and corrupted by wrong ways and deceitful ideas. They believed, in short, that they held in their steady hands the candle that would light the world. We have inherited this belief, and it has helped and hurt us. It helped them with discipline. It gave the discipline it gave them. They were dedicated folk by Lloyd. Okay. When do we get to the dialogue? How long is this? Okay. Okay, yep, Cool, cool. Okay, cool, man. Thank you. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna have to take a couple pauses. Only 154 pages. That's actually pretty short, I feel. And they had to be served. And they had to be survive. Be survive. And they had to be. To survive the life they had chosen to be born into this country. The proof of their belief. But. Ah! Excuse me. The proof of their beliefs, value to them, may be taken from the opposite character of the first Jamestown settlement, farther south in Virginia. The Englishmen who landed there were motivated mainly by a hunt for profit. They had sought to pick up the wealth of the new country and then return rich to New England. They were a band of individualists and much more ingrating groups than the Massachusetts men, but Virginia destroyed them. Massachusetts tried to kill off the Massachusetts tried to kill off the Puritans, but they combined. They settled up a communal society, which in the beginning was little more than an armed camp with an autocratic and a very developed devoted relationship. It was, however, an an autocracy, an autocracy, more than an armored, no, an autocracy, by consent, for they were united from top to bottom by a calmly held ideology whose perception, perpetuation was the reason and justification for all their sufferings. So their self-denial, their purposefulness, their suspicion of all vain pursuits, their hard-handled justice, were altogether perfect installments for the conquest of this space so antagonistic to men. But the people of Salem in 1692 were not quite dedicated folk that arrived on the Mayflower. Ooh, okay. Historical event, man. Awesome. A vast differentiation had taken place, and in their own time a revolution had unseated the royal government and substituted a junta, which was at this moment in power. The times to their eyes must have been out of the joint, and to the common folk must have seemed as insoluble. I know, like with acting too, right? Like, if you mess up on a word, just keep going, but I'm doing reading. Big old paragraphs. And complicated as do ours today, it is not hard to see how easily many could have been led to believe that the time of confusion had been brought upon them by deep and darkling forces. No hints of such speculation appears on the court record, but social disorder in any age breeds, such as mystical, suspicious, and when, as in so and when, as in social, okay, as in Salem, wonders were brought forth from below the social surface. It is too much to expect people to hold back a very long and laying on the victims with all the forces of their frustrations. The Salem tragedy, which is about to begin on these pages. Okay. Developed from a paradox. It is paradox in whose grip we still live, and there is no prospect yet that we will discover its resolution simply. It was this: for good purpose, even high purposes, the people of Salem developed theocratically a combined a combine of state and was this a bad idea? Was this a bad idea of a thing to do? What made me decide to do this, honestly? I'm sorry. Oh my god. Taking a water break. Taking a water break. Just a bit of a water break, you know. Ugh. Okay, we're back. Apologies about that. Haven't. Hmm? Whose grip we still live, and there is no prospect yet that we will discover its resolution. Simply, it was this: for good purposes, even higher purposes, the people of Salem developed a theocracy and combine of state and religious power, whose function was to keep the community together and to prevent any kind of dishonesty that might open it to destruction by material or ideological enemies. It was forged for a necessary purpose and accomplished that purpose. But all organization is and must be grounded on the idea of exclusion and prohibition, just as when just as two objects cannot occupy the same space. Evidently the time came in New England when the repressions of order were heavier than seemed, warranted by the dangers against which the order was organized. The witch hunter was perverse manifestation of the panic which set in among all classes when the ballast began to turn towards greater individual freedom. When one rises above an individual's villainy displayed, one can only pity them all. Just as we shall be pitied someday, it is still impossible for man to organize his social life without repressions, and a balance has yet to be struck between order and freedom. The witch hunt was not, however, a mere repression. It was also, and as importantly, a long overdue opportunity for everyone so inclined to express publicly his guilt and sins under the cover of accusations against the victims. It suddenly became possible and patriotic and holy for a man to say that Martha Corey had came into his bedroom at night and that, while his wife was sleeping on his side, Martha laid herself down on his chest and nearly suffocated him. Oh no! Of course, it was her spirit only, but this satisfaction at confessing himself was no lighter than if it had been Martha herself. Oh, one could not orderly speak such things in public. Long-held hatred of neighbors could now be openly expressed and vengeance taken, despite the Bible's charitable injunctions, landed lust, which had been expressed before by Constant bickering over boundaries and the deeds could now be evaluated to the area of mortality. One could cry witches against one's neighbors and feel perfectly justified in the bargain. Old scores could be settled on a plane and heavily combated between Lucifer and the Lord. Suspicion and the envy of miserable towards the happy could and did burst out in general revenge. Reverend Paris is praying now, and no, we cannot hear his words. I sense of his confusion hanging about him, he mumbles. When seems about to weep, then we weeps, and prays again, but his daughter does not stir on the bed. The door opens and his negro... Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna have to... I mean, this is a history thing, right? Okay, Because, I mean, it's not like a bad thing to say, and it's not like the other word. But, like... I mean, you know, I'm safe thing. Skip over it. The door opens and his slave enters. How do you pronounce names? Tituba? Let me look that up real quick, okay? How do you pronounce?
Tituba.
Tituba. Okay, I would have butchered that. The door opens and his slave enters. Tituba is in her 40s. Paris brought her with him, with Barbados. From Barbados, where he spent some years as a merchant before entering the ministry. She enters as one dose who can no longer bear to bear from the sight of her beloved. But she is also very frightened because her slave sense has warned her that, as always, trouble in this house eventually lands on her back. Tituba already taken a step backwards. My Betty, by Hardy soon? Out there. Okay, no, I'm gonna need to think about this scene. Oy vey. I'm gonna go get some water real quick. This is gonna be a long read. This is like 5 hours. I'm only on page like 9. Okay, hold up, y'all. This is gonna take like a while. I could have been watching like fucking K-pop Demon Hunters right now, but I chose to commit to the bit and do this. So yeah, yeah, cool, man, cool. Crucible already taken a step backwards. My Betty. My Betty. By Heidi soon? Out of here. Oh, okay. Restart the scene. My Betty. My Heidi soon? Out of here. Crucible bagging into the door. My Betty. Not going. Die. Paris scrambled to his feet in fury. Out of my sight! Out of my... Yeah. Okay. Out of my sight! Can't play that seriously right now. I give up. She is gone. Out of my... He is overcome with sobs. So, like... like that sobbing? I don't know. I messed up my glasses. Great. Overcome with sobs. He clamps his... Oh. Yeah, he clamps his teeth against them. He clamps his teeth against them and closes the door and leans against it exhausted. Oh my God. God help me. Quaking with fear, mum blinding to himself through his sobs, he goes to the bed and gently takes Betty's hand. Betty, child, dear child, will you wake? Will you open your eyes? Betty, little one. He is bending to knee again when his niece Abigail Williams, 17, enters a strikingly beautiful girl, an orphan with an endless capability of disassembling. Now she is all worry and apprehension, immobility. Uncle? He looks at her. Uncle? He looks at her. Susanna Walcott, here from Dr. Griggs. Oh. It's so hard to tell what is like the end of a sentence. Okay, but the indent. Okay. Oh. 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 I think that's good. Like an, oh. Let her come. Let her come. Don't take that out of... God damn it. Yeah, no. Oh. Let her come. Let her come. Yeah, okay, that sounds a lot better. God, that previous line sounded terrible. Terrible, I tell you. Abigail leaning out the door to Susanna, who's down the hall, feels steps. Come in. Susanna? Susanna Walcott, a little younger than Abigail, a nervous, hurried girl enters. Paris eagerly. What does the doctor say, child? Susanna craning around Paris to get a look at Betty. He bid me come. He bid me. Oh wait, is Susanna saying this or Betty? He bid me come and tell you, revered sir, that he cannot discover no medicine for it in his books. And then he must search on. Aye, sir. I swear I've never done this on a fucking YouTube stream. Even though nobody's here, I'm still freaking out about this shit, man. God fucking damn it. But I'm determined to commit to it. Let me ask somebody real quick, actually. Hold on a second. I'm gonna ask somebody if somebody can join. Oh. Excuse me. Okay. What does the doctor say, child? He bid me to come and tell you, revered sir, that he cannot discover no medicine for it in his books. Then he must search on. Aye, sir. He have been searching. Oh, is he like... Fuck, man. I can't keep doing this. Okay. Yeah, I don't think this is working out. Sorry, everybody. Uh... Yeah, not working as well as I'd thought. So, yeah. Maybe I'll redo this again someday. But yeah, not looking like it. Not looking like it. Kind of a downer note to end the stream, but I don't really have anything to end it on, so yeah, honestly.